Last time on the culture.
But where is really these political figures, the small councilmen and things of that nature? What are they there for?
It's important to understand that somebody had mentioned, well, look at these elected officials. They're out there, they're protesting with the people, but they still get the same treatment. And I say that because before I open my mouth, before you know who I work for, you know I'm a black man.
The culture. Yeah, what up, it's your boy Alley Cat. What up, Twin? You are now watching the culture. One and only. You ready? The question for the whole panel, and it doesn't matter who wants to go first. The way Nathaniel is stating it is that it seems like we're all guilty for being black.
Well, I got the answer.
Guilty about, man. It's beautiful, bro.
Somebody said it's beautiful.
They just don't want the struggle. They out there tanning, putting lip injections, putting butt injections. Because I had to do this in college. They used to put black women in cages because their ass and tits was too big. Meanwhile, this is the same thing they paying for now. You know what I'm saying? They want to wear the braids. I tell people, don't be ashamed because you black. Listen, like I forgot who said it, but these rules that was written by men, listen, they want the look, they want the culture, they don't want the struggle. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I mean, they love our culture, but they don't love us. So
he definitely talked about them human zoos. He talking about them human zoos.
Yes,
we spoke about that in its nature. I mean, so now we see the police brutality, we see the peaceful protest, and then we go into the riots and the looting. And now the more we dig deeper, you start seeing officers of the law participating.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
Al, man.
I'll jump in.
Okay.
Al, you want to go first, Al? I'll let you. You want to go first, Al?
Just let me say this, Cal. There's 800,000 police officers in the USA. There's about 5 states that got the highest number of police officers. There's about 15,400 departments. And when it comes to racial, it's 73% of police are white, 27% are minorities, and it's only 2% of young kids that actually want to be cops. So when we talk about the developmental stage of a young black man or woman, if he have that negative experience with police officers, he gonna umbrella the whole police or a police thing and say all police are bad. Go ahead, go, Cal. I just want to put that out there.
I'm not definitely gonna say all police are bad. But what I'm gonna say is that we're up against a calculated. This right here is all pre-planned. If everybody don't see it, I want you to go and research it and check out the dynamic, check out what's happening right now from this pandemic to this assassination of our people in broad daylight in front of the streets to get this reaction. What we're up against is, I wouldn't even say they're people, but we're up against Pastor Pullings, Pastor Michael, I'm sorry. Y'all know this is the devil's work. And I'm not on no religious thing, but I'm a spiritual person. I understand like the realms where we come from. Like our heritage and our ancestors were well versed in what we're going through right now. But we have been led astray. We have been led down the wrong path. What we're going through right now is just it's like a presentation of the New World Order. We all heard New World Order over the period of time. Every one of us in this panel, I'm pretty sure heard the New World Order. We're up against some demons right now. You know what I mean? And unless we all come together and figure out what it is, like I'm a calculated brother, and I know not too many people. I know a few people on the panel. I think I'm half the panel that know me. It's Twin, Brother Keith, and Alley Cat that know me personally. Other 3 brothers, y'all don't know me personally, but I get deep. Like I'm all around everything. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is this: we have to get more educated into what's going on right now. We have to dig deep and see what is happening in front of us to understand that there's something that's happening that's not all, it's not natural. This ain't by nature. this is manufactured. From the COVID virus to the assassinations of our 3 brothers and sisters that we lost in this last month. This is all pre-planned. And if y'all don't see it, take a time out. I'm not going to go in too much further. I don't want to spend anybody much time. I want y'all to understand that there's so much going on that, you know, if you're not looking for it, you're not going to see it. I've been looking for it for a long time because I've been indulging this for 30 years. And it's a lot of going on. And I know that y'all feel it. But if y'all don't believe it, keep digging. Keep going. Because there's something that's going on right now that because we're on this live chat right now, we have a common goal, and that's to become greater than what we are right now. I have children. I don't know if everybody else on this panel have children, but we all do. We're not promised too much longer. I'm 51 years old. I don't know how old y'all brothers are right here, but we have to lay down a legacy. And until we get knowledge of self, until we understand the history of what about our oppressors, y'all have to understand we up against a different animal. It's not even a different animal. It's an animal that's been around the whole time. But I don't think y'all really have an understanding of what's truly going on. And I agree with everybody on this panel. There's nothing I don't disagree with. We may have different avenues that we got to this same path, but we all on the same path. That's the main thing. And I want y'all to understand that just keep digging. Like I want you,
Well,
if you think something, if you think something that I see that, go ahead, bro.
Al, let me interject a little bit here, right? Because like you said, we all grown here. We all grown black men, and a lot of us have kids and stuff like that. But we can't go down the rabbit hole too hard, Cal, because by that time we be dead and gone. We gotta do what we can do right now while we still alive. And that's my thing. Like, I think a lot of brothers up here know how deep the rabbit hole go. And I don't like to do too much intellectual, like, masturbation. Like, I don't be in love with too much information. Do you understand? Because I got to keep a balance, right? I got to be physically out there as well as trying to get some knowledge as well, right? So we don't want to be into the knowledge too deep, but we got to do what we got to do right now because y'all have kids right now. So if we trying to leave a legacy, we ain't trying to get too deep because we ain't going to have the time to do what we supposed to do. So I just want anybody to intervene on that and definitely elaborate on that. I just want to hear other people's opinion, Ali.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I hear
all
you.
right.
I spoke enough. I'm waiting for everybody else to
All
speak.
right.
I don't want to take up your whole time, man.
No. All right. So now, with all that being said, I mean, let's hit the key points. We have Antifa. We have the anarchists that's participating in this riot and looting. You have bricks being laid in the street, things of that nature. You know, we don't see, or I haven't seen somewhat of the leaders from great organizations come out. I haven't seen, and maybe they're doing something behind the scenes, I haven't seen some of these great pastors from these mega churches doing anything. And let me start with the COVID. I haven't seen them doing nothing or really speaking. And maybe I'm off, but I haven't seen the Freflo dollars that brought the jet and wanted the people to pay for the jet.
My man shaking his head already.
Can I jump in on this real quick? I'm gonna explain it to you. Can I say this real quick? This is what happens, and I get a lot of heat for this. And I use Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson for this. Listen, I'm black, I'm pro-black. I don't like them. You know why? Because it's you guys. It's your show. It's these pastors on here. It's Cal. Y'all the ones doing the work. Y'all the ones getting maced. But at the end of the day, who's going to be doing the photo op? It's them dudes. And this is why I always told them, they not there for you, bro. You know what I'm saying? The Malcolms and the Martins are gone, man. These other guys that the quote-unquote leaders, they're not there. They go the aftermath. When you guys are ones getting maced and getting locked up, they gonna show up after the fact. Let me ask you this: When was the last time? Y'all, when did y'all hear from Al Sharpton after this dude got his neck stepped on? 3 or 4 days after?
They bitches, man.
Yeah.
Al Sharpton.
Hold on. So we know these things. We know these things.
But that's
we hear them speak.
That's why we gotta start anew. We gotta start anew.
Hold on.
Hold on for a second. Yo, Al, hold on for a second. all right? In all fairness, right? Because we don't want equality, we want fairness, right?
Absolutely.
Reverend Al Sharpton got stabbed in one of his marches. It's one thing
Man,
to talk
listen.
about something. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
Randy, I want to hear what your
on.
thing is on that.
Hold on.
What's your thoughts?
It's one thing to stay behind closed doors and to have an opinion on somebody. There's somebody out there. I don't care if it was a small point of time or a little bit point of time. He put in that work. I don't care if you thought it was for 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. What I'm saying is, at some point, your opinion got to come with a body of work, right, Randy? You got to come with a body of work.
Randy, please.
Let me say this.
Go ahead, Randy.
I get a lot of, just how you're talking about good cops, bad cops, we get good preachers, bad preachers. We get it.
That's right.
A preacher molests a boy, now all preachers are molesters. A preacher steal money, now we all thieves. So I mean, it's, so let me say,
hold on.
There are people
Randy.
not built for the front line.
Exactly.
I know only one thing, and that's to be out there. I'm not good for TV. I'm not good for photo ops. I'm good for the work. So those that are good for the photo ops, I'm not there to knock them. That's what they do. You know, like the body of Christ. We have arms, legs, feet. You know, we all work together, but they can be the face. I want to be the hands. So I can't justify or degrade what they do. They are the face of what they would consider to be the spiritual side of everything. But honestly, if you want to see who's out there, you got to be out there, because the news is not going to show pastors doing good. They're only going to show.
Randy, I want to stop. I want to hold you right there for a second.
I like that. I like that everybody's woken up now.
Now I'm glad because I've heard. See, now this goes into a discussion with Cal. You see what you just said? You don't see them on the front line when you out there, but soon as they have something to say, like the brother polite. And I'm using this because I had this conversation off screen with Cal. I'm calling all these motherfuckers out. I'm calling all leaders out. So let's not play this game. And that's what I'm talking about. Let's not play this game. You know, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm on this front line. You know why? Because even though I got family members here and on this thing and on this panel, and we all have a respect for one another, and we all gonna handle things differently because we all individuals, but we're really not. Because when we go up against when we go up against these organizations and things of that nature, we all one to them. No matter how you look at it, we all one to them.
That's a fact. That's the fact.
And so now, when we break it down, I don't want none of us, because life is a contradiction. Because just now, I just witnessed a contradiction. You know, he said motherfucking right. And I've been going back and forth with this man all day.
That's what I'm saying, Al.
And so,
Mr. Pullins, yo, Al, Mr. Pullins, maybe Al Sharpton is defeat. You know what I'm saying? They're calling on Reverend Farrakhan, and he's 80 years old. If y'all haven't learned,
now the conversation is now we talking.
I got all my brothers. I got all my brothers now. And hold on to Daniel. I like that smile on your face. I like the smirk because you got it on mute. You're sitting there relaxing. I like yours too, Keith. I'm watching everybody. Now see, we got Farrakhan. He's 80 years old, right? But 80. You got to remember this. Hold on. We have people that you put in position, you put in place. You have people that you put in position. You hand the baton to. You know what I mean?
No. We didn't put him in place.
Hold on, Cal. We didn't
put him in place.
Mr. Michael. I want to say this because I like what you said in the beginning. And we all brothers here. So I just want to touch on something you said because we are the culture. And
yes, we are.
Let me give you this. And let me give you this in the church. I don't care if it's religious or righteous. Y'all pass the baton. Y'all pass the baton. And Randy, I know you're shaking your head because that's my family up here. Pastor Pullins and his whole family. His father's a pastor. Let me start off. His grandfather's a pastor. Pastor wow, I was about to say Uncle Perry. Pastor Burns on 108 and Sufton. What is that? 150th and Sufton. God bless his soul, Elder Burns. Then his father, Orrin Pullins. Then your brother, I'm sorry, your father's Keith Pullins. I mean, you break the names out. I got everybody's name all messed
Yo,
up.
Al,
Then
get this right, man. Get this right, man.
Then you got Jeffrey Pullins. These all, they was all out there. Once pastor. You come from a family that's been in the pool pit. In so many words. And I'm gonna give y'all respect as calling y'all by your name. Pastor Michael. You're a pastor. But let's get this clear. We all know that we saying, because I'm not off topic, we saying, okay, because Twin said, why you get mad at Farrakhan? He's 80 years old, but he can pass the baton. Everybody passed the baton. Elijah Muhammad passed the baton. Mm-hmm. You know, right. Listen, I could go with the church all day. I can name so many pastors and this and that. It's only a few pastors that I say, oh, listen, I know how to treat. Look, Henrietta Fallard, great pastor. She just retired, treasurer of Allen AME churches. She was the I guess I don't know if the Northeast or whatever it was, treasurer. Y'all should know who she is. She's been under Reverend Floyd Flake. And whoever's watching this, when it does preview, I'm talking about New York pastors. Pastor Pullins is in Florida. Pastor Michael is in South Jamaica, Queens. And I stand to be corrected if anything I went wrong in, but they passed the baton. Everybody passes the baton. Even in the political office, they know who they want to run next or who they're going to push in order. Even in the uniform of the NYPD or any uniform of the police, they pass the baton. Do we agree or disagree on this? Because it's a baton being passed. And now that, and thank you, Pastor Michael. So now that the baton is being passed, that's bullshit. Farrakhan can speak up. Farrakhan can ask for donations. Everybody can ask for money. But nobody's saying, okay, push this person out here. Push for this. You only push when it's a photo op. Mm-hmm. Listen, I watched Donald Trump do a photo op, and that same photo op that he did had the Bible backwards and upside down. And he gassed the people standing
it also mimicked Hitler.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Hold on, Cal. Hold on.
Hitler has the same. I was getting ready to say that, Cal.
That's why I want you to come in, Cal, because you know you talked about Antifa, and then when you spoke about it, I went in, like I don't have conversation unless I could further elaborate myself and do some studies and come back with facts. That's why I said the culture is going to give you the best facts that we can.
It's one thing to say Trump is just out there for photo ops. We know Trump is doing a great job for his people. We know that for sure. So if he's doing something that's related to Hitler, we know one thing about Hitler history. He's doing something great for his people. So when we talk about Louis Farrakhan, he passed it down to Khalid Muhammad. He passed it down, and he was more charismatic. I mean, Khalid was more charismatic than Farrakhan, and so forth and so on. But doesn't mean they did a good enough, thorough job. The baton is always being passed. I don't mind that the baton is being passed, right? But when something is happening like this, the new leaders should be around the age 40, 37, 38. This should be the new leaders, the panel that I'm looking at today. If we're still calling on somebody, Farrakhan, 80 years old, who by this time most likely got health problems, we got an issue as a community. That's what I'm saying, Mr. Pullins.
You're right. You're right, brother. You're right. And right now, go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, you know, the difference between this world and the church is every pastor right now could die and the church will still be fine.
Yes, sir.
Because God is the one who's in charge of raising up the next leader. The thing about society is we are in charge of raising up the next leader. So when Martin Luther King came, a lot of people don't know the pastor before him, name was Vernon John. That church kicked him out because he was too pro-black, too civil rights minded. And as soon as they got rid of him, the next pastor was Martin Luther King. So when God has a plan for something, it always will, it will happen. The thing about us is we look at entertainers. We want to be entertained. We want to be,
wait a minute. I'm sorry.
We want to come to church. We want to be entertained. We want to do all these, it's like we're not there for the right purpose. And we put people ahead because they're very eloquent in their speech, but maybe not the content that we want or the lifestyle we want them to be living. So the problem is that when you have entertainment on your mind, you're choosing leaders that are only going to entertain you. And when it comes down to problems, like a pastor who don't really teaches, or he teaches just grace, or he just teaches one particular thing, or like money. What do they call it? Prosperity ministry. Well, when problems come in life that money can't get you out of, you don't know nothing else but money, and you're stuck. So it has a lot to do with us. We have a right to choose anybody we want, but we want to be led by LeBron James. We want to be led by Creflo Dollar. We want to be led by entertainers when we should be looking for people of substance that can articulate and are educated and that can speak for us and bring what we can't say ourselves and bring it out eloquently. But the problem is that we tend to turn on people like that. We'll forgive the entertainers, but we'll be hard on educated people. And it seems like as a people, white people ain't got to get rid of us anymore. They ain't got to kill us no more when it comes to our leaders, because we killed them ourselves. So when we choose somebody, we got to make sure we stick behind them, realize that they're not perfect, but realize that the goal is to advance this thing forward. And we not allow entertainers to do that. We looking for Chris Rock for answers. We're looking for
T.I. for answers. We're looking for T.I. for answers.
Hold on. Let me interject, because I speak this on the Instagram Live. I speak this on YouTube when we post to YouTube. I tell people don't look for the entertainers. I express that all the time. Pastor Michael, I don't know if you watch us on Instagram or follow us or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We speak upon all this. When the COVID-19 hit, we spoke about the economic reset. We spoke about the fudging the numbers. We do all our research. I'm glad that the panel has finally woke up, and we probably gonna give 10 more minutes and come to a close, or we probably gonna let it rock out and make this a 2-part series. But I'm glad that everybody's awoke. And you know, in life, we tend you have your below average, your above average, and you have your average. The average person in this world are somewhat sheep or cattle. They're being herded. Our people's being herded with no direction. When you look for a person in righteousness who's intellectual and educated, people usually turn to them as leaders because they're intelligent, they're smart enough. Now you have some that manipulate the situation. Then you have some that go wholeheartedly strong. Like we reference some great leaders here, but one of the great leaders has led us astray, believe it or not, because like I said in the beginning of this platform, I said some of us, and which all human beings have contradictions because we're not all perfect. Dr. Martin Luther King said he led his people into a burning house. I'm quite sure all of us seen that message. You have Malcolm X said, before you fight for civil rights, you should have fought for human rights. We are not being governed under human rights as Black men. You know, you have all these so-called intellectuals, but all these so-called intellectuals want to pad their pocket. It's nothing but padding their pocket. You know, we speak upon, like I said, the anarchists. That's one organization that's joined into the riots and looting. Then you look at the Antifa. They're in the riot and looting. I studied Antifa. It's an organization, but they're so well organized that they don't even have a head that you know of. They don't have a head that you know of, and they're against white supremacy. They're against neo-Nazis, and they started in Russia. So majority of them are going to be white. But we not doing, see, let's get to the facts. And sticking to the facts, we have to stick to the laws that are governed against us. Because laws was made not for us to strive. They was made for us to just get by. See, everybody says slavery taught us how to survive and then teach us how to live. So now that because we about 100 years out now from 400 years, we about 100 years away from slavery. And what? I mean, what's the next movement? What do we? Because this movement right here, this is the panel that we need to have these discussions and try to get an understanding of what's going on. We have Nurse over here. He's a retired detective. He could give his perspective of being in the precinct. We all can give us our perspective of being on the street. Nathaniel, he's here. He's in the political field. He's worked for the federal government. He could give his ploy or say, oh, do this and do that. I'm quite sure the two great pastors and I say great men, you took on the clergy. I mean, you can give us a viewpoint of righteousness. So within saying that, and we have Cool Cal, small business owner, and just a black man in the whole. We all black men here. They're all going to see us the same until we speak.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Al, like, it seemed like in our communities, what I feel like is going on is a lot of glamorization. It's a lot of like, well, I remember when I was younger, the sanitation man used to live in the neighborhood. I remember all the guys with the big jobs used to live in our neighborhood. They used to walk down the block with a bunch of change in their pocket and hand it to, I'm almost 40, so I'm not really that young, but they used to hand out the change to us. What I think is happening is just too much distractions, and it's hard for us to get around. You know what I'm saying? So now the conscious brother, the M-Hotep brother is corny now. Do you understand what I'm saying? They just want the fast life when we're trying to build a foundation here. You understand? And I do agree with most people on this panel because we all got to play our part. You're not bigger than the sum of all things. And I want people to recognize that. You need to play your part. And that's all I'm trying to do as the culture with me and Ali is to play our part. But when it comes to like the police brutality, I don't know if Alan know anything about this, Nurse, but I really want to get into, before we get off the air, police brutality bonds. If anybody on the panel collaborate about the bonds and the payout that these banks and these firms get for the police brutality on colored people.
Oh no, we don't. That I couldn't even tell you. I have no
Nathaniel, would you know that? Not
Yeah.
to cut you off, Nurse. I would go with Nathaniel with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. No, anybody
That's a
can
question.
chime in.
I would go with Nathaniel. I would go with Nathaniel on that one. Knowing his background, I would ask him that one. Not discrediting no one else. I apologize, brothers, but I don't want to discredit no one else. But
Are you talking about in regards to the pension funds and what they choose? What the pension choose to invest in versus
I'm talking about,
I think,
Nathaniel, I'm talking about cities are in debt right now to police brutality, the settlements that are paid out. And how they get the money is through bonds to pay out these settlements. And
banks.
Right. So let me give you some statistics. Chicago in itself for the year of 2016
74 million.
had 74 million for the year for payout settlements for police brutality, mostly
and not to
colored
cut
people.
you off, 18 million in interest.
And that's 18 million in interest, and then the investors made almost $1 billion through the interest. Banks and investors are getting rich off of police brutality. This is another reason why they don't calm down the police brutality in these departments all over the city. And then also, I don't know if anybody want to elaborate on that right quick, because I definitely want to get into that.
That's an interesting statistic.
I just found that out today.
See, I'm glad. See, this is what we call a shock right here. We stumbled everybody.
No, because I know with New York City, I think it's about 200 million for last year or something like that.
There you go. There you go, Nate.
So I pay attention. I can't remember everything, but when you point in one direction,
I just want to get the information out there. Banks like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, they profit off of billions.
That's how we got to play this game. We got to get that knowledge right there. This is exactly what we have to do. We
trying to get there, Cal.
We trying to get there, Cal, but we can't shut down. See, hold on, Cal. Ain't no dumb question. It's the only thing that's dumb if you don't ask the question. So let me relate back into the beginning of the conversation. You didn't want to have certain questions. That's why I need everybody to be open-minded. I just say, and you know my saying, You know my saying. With all due respect, some things I'm going to have to disrespect you. But to get to the nitty gritty, we have to get all these questions and answers out.
So let's get to it, Al.
Let's get to it, Nat. Let's get to it, Nathaniel.
Before we get to it, can I say something?
Yeah, Tommy.
If you ever, I don't have the information in front of me because this is a question I wasn't expecting. But if you ever think about the police force and how it originally got started, and one business ended and the new business has started, the prison system is a business. It employs many people. This systematic racism is employing a lot of people. So, you know, people get mad at Michael Jordan because he owns percentages of private prisons and things like that. And I always tell people it's a business decision that they are making because he has the money to invest. And we are judging him based off of we not having that amount of money to make those decisions that he's making. But the point is, Black people are good for business, period.
Yes, sir.
Number one, they entice us to do certain things, and then we volunteer to do certain things. So this business will always go on. If you ever remember when we were in the age, many of y'all are my age, every cop that we seen was Irish at one point, or some type of white or something like that.
Okay, so
now we punish the Black cops for infiltrating the system, and we want them to change it overnight, and they can't do it.
Okay, but Randy, hold on, Randy. I want to. Cal, hold on.
Are they really trying?
No. Let me. Hold on, Cal. Hold on, Randy. Me and Twin's gonna go in on this. We're gonna elaborate on this because you said. See, so I'm tracking your conversation. You said the police and where it came from. You know, the first police officer was the slave catcher.
Slave catcher, yes.
Right? Okay, so now, go give him the amity law of the police officer, Twin, and then I'm gonna stop you when I feel.
I just want to elaborate.
I want you to give him that.
Yeah, I want to elaborate what Pullins is saying, especially the Irish. Like you look at the YMCA and
hold on, Twin, hold on. I want you to give that so we could go. I want to go through that. I want to give it step by step. So I want to give us the history, the maritime law. I gave him the history of the slave catcher, break down the police, and then we're going to go into the Irish and how they started policing.
That's cool.
Because we have it on YouTube. We have it on YouTube. Yeah. Obviously, you didn't watch, Randy. So let's break it down, brother.
Well, what you talk about is maritime amity law. That maritime amity law is the law of water. I don't know if Nathaniel, you probably heard of this before, but he probably have. And what happens is that's what the police operate in, right? So they the pole ice. They the off icer. They is the ice situation. That's why they dress in blue. They the cold situation. So when they come to a scene, the battery is heated. You're heated. You're intense. They come to cool down the situation. You understand? That's what they job do. This is where you get the different color lights that's on top of the police car. This is all the signs of maritime amity law, which is the law of water, which we actually go through life doing. Do you understand? I'm sure, Nathaniel, you heard of when a ship docks in, this is where the original birth certificate come from, the social security card, and all this good stuff, right? This is what we call maritime amity law. So once the police arrest you and lock you up, they put you in a cell because the body is 90% water and 10% energy. It's a battery cell. You need your body to recuperate energy. This is why they sit you in
Hold on, Twin. Hold on, Twin. I don't want to go that far yet. Now we have this. Now you have. Let me go you back to now. So we gave you the definition of police officer. We have the slave catcher. Now, if you watch the movie Life, I say this all the time. You had that one Negro that was there holding a gun, didn't realize he was free. They did him like they did an elephant. They put a shackle there. He thought he was chained, and after a while they cut the shackle. And he didn't realize he was free. He could have revoluted. So his mind was whitewashed. Now let me move you forward now. Now, Twin. Let's explain to him about the Irishman and why they became the police in heavily situations. Go ahead, Twin.
I mean, after a while, they had to infiltrate the police department because a lot of them lived in ghettos. A lot of times when you look at the windows that have bars on it, if you read any book called The Luck of the Irish, they have bars on a lot of these windows. It's because it stopped the police from coming into their communities. A lot of times when the European police used to come in their communities, they wouldn't make it out. That's where they come to term paddy wagon. Paddy wagons is a derogatory term for Irish people. They used to put Irish people in back of the paddy wagon. That's why I used to have a lot of light posts. A lot of light posts were created because young Irish women, 14 and 13 and 12 years old, used to stand by the post and prostitute. You understand? So they had to infiltrate the police department because they used to get racially profiled themselves. Actually, the Irish people was the first slaves on this land because black people was always here, baby.
Okay, so now we gave you history, we defined it. Now, the American Negro has always been, how would you say, down the rabbit hole and with the whitewash. Now, what we're seeing in America today is black rage, right? And the black rage that we're seeing in America today stems from white rage. So let's not sugarcoat this. Black rage stems from white rage.
Black on black violence stems from white on black violence. White on black violence stems from white on white violence. That's why we're in love with the Italian names. That's why we're in love with those gangs and stuff like that. This is where it stems from. This is where it goes back to. You know what I'm saying? This is why we treat each other the way we do. But yeah, I just want to elaborate on that right quick. The same tactics we use to kill each other, the same tactics we use not to grow our communities, was the same tactic that was the European was using on a Negro. All you gotta do is look up some of our great societies like Black Wall Street, everybody know, and stuff like that. We had great societies.
Which Black Wall Street, when you go into that, Black Wall Street was started in Durham, North Carolina. They had many Black Wall Streets like Rosewood and things of that nature of communities that they had their own banking systems. Now, Tulsa, Oklahoma was the Black Wall Street where a black man was running the shoe shine he had in a district, and I'm a little bit off with the story because I'm an influx of a bunch of information right now for this panel. So within what happened was he usually gets on the elevator every day with this white woman. She controls the elevator. One day she decides to scream and said he assaulted her. He ran back into their part of Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, into the black community. They came and got him. Some black people went down and said, no, we getting him back. And let off a shot, killed the white man. Next thing you know, it was enraged, and they killed over 300 people. And systematically in America, and I want all y'all brothers to hear this, systematically in America, there's no statute of limitations on murder. No statute of limitations on murder, but over 300 people was killed, babies as well. They eradicated families, and none of them have been prosecuted to this day.
And that's why it's important to look at police brutality bonds, because it really mess up the black community. A father lose a son lose a father, and now that son got to grow up in a system where he's fending for himself. And plus, who's paying back all this money is the community within the black people live through taxes. The taxpayer pay back all this money from settlements, from bonds, through police brutality. So that's one of the instances. And I also want to elaborate on like places like Orlando, Florida, that got high police brutality, but not a lot of high black on black crime. There's no relation, because a lot of times, I just want to speak to Alan real quick, where they say, they use excessive force due to the community around them. It's rough. But when you look at some place like Buffalo, New York versus Orlando, Florida, you will see one place that don't have a lot of black on black crime, but high police on black crime, like high police brutality. And then you see other places that have a low black or low or high, however you want to look at it, is straight opposite. So I just want to know if Alan wanted to elaborate on that, because I definitely want to get inside the culture of the police department. I really do, man. It's like a myth for us, man. Like,
can I jump in real quickly on that?
Yeah,
because that was a part of the protests that sparked the protests that were sparked by the death of Michael Brown, and how the town of Ferguson was governed, where the majority Caucasian police department was raining terror on the county in Ferguson, to the point where, and that's why it was encouraged, a lot of the people who came into Ferguson at that time wanted to get people registered to vote wanted to get them engaged in what the system is so that they know who their elected officials are in the system and start changing around that dynamic. And I don't know if you all had seen the news last night, but Ferguson finally elected its first Black mayor.
Yes, we saw that. Yes.
So there are steps there that are intricately taken, and it doesn't happen instantaneously, but it's a slow build to what a goal could be as far as turning around a problematic area. And I think in the next couple of months or years, we'll see what that mayor brings and what that mayor is able to achieve in her term as mayor there in Ferguson. Because I'm not going to say that everybody who is Black or everybody who's of color is for the community and for the culture. I'm going to say that let's give this sister a shot, because that's what that community voted for, because they felt like this face that matches ours is the best to cure what the problems are in our society.
Mr. Nathaniel.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question, brother. I am a brother who has no faith in politicians, because I see that whether it's Democrat or Republican, we never get fair shake. So I'm asking you as a brother who's in politics, like, how can we, manifest enough power to put in place that someone that has the answers to what we need as a society? Because everybody get theirs. Like the Koreans got theirs, the Russians got theirs, the Jews got theirs. Everybody has got their fair shake except for the original man of this nation. Nobody has gave us anything. We don't get nothing. And the politicians that we put in place, whether it's Democrat or Republicans right now, they don't have our agendas in play. We had a Black president. And in that time of the Black president, Barack Obama, we had the same way we getting murdered right now in the streets is the same way we was getting murdered back then. We had the most crime in Chicago, which is his hometown. So when are we going to get the real voice of the people to step in the realm? Because we're not getting that. With the politicians, I do not agree with, because the only time they come into my barbershop is when it's come time to vote. But they don't come in there no other time. So I'm asking you, my brother, as a politician, how can we put somebody in play that is representing exactly what we need?
So I'm going to ask you this simple question. Who's your council member?
Right across the street from the shop.
Right across the street, but he's right across the street. But not only is he across the street, and in fact, his name is
That's That's your state senator. I know where your shop is. That's
Leroy Comrie?
That's your state senator.
What about Comrie?
Who's your council member? That's a senator in another district. Who's your council member?
I like this, Cal. I like this, Cal. Who is your congressman, Cal?
Who's your council
sister
member?
Across the street? The sister across the street?
Who's the sister across the street?
She's an old bird.
Oh, you talking about your assembly member? I'm talking about your council member. Who's that?
All right. I'm glad you asked me this, my brother. Why I don't know? Because they didn't come to me. Why I gotta look for them? Why do I have to look for them?
Oh, we await now.
If they in my district, where have they been? Why they didn't come to me?
Do you know how many? Do you know how many? Do you know how many people are in a councilmatic district? In a city councilmatic district, it contains about 174,000 people.
And not one, has paid me a visit.
Hold on. We can sing together, but we can't talk at once.
If you think that a council member can visit 174,000 people, that's a lot. That's a lot. What I'm saying to you is this. If you know who you're elected, if you have a knowledge of who your elected officials are, you will know who to go to for what and what you need to get out of them. Okay? So the important thing here is to know the levels of government, know which each level is for, and how they work for the community. I understand where
political science. Is this political science?
This is not political science. This is civics. This is the bare minimum. there's 3 branches of government. Then you break down the branches of city, state, and federal. This is a bare minimum.
Okay.
This is a bare minimum.
I don't mean to cut Nathaniel. Yeah, like you got 2 people,
everybody.
Nathaniel, right? Either you don't know who the lines of government is, or they depending on somebody else to know that for them. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm gonna go into it like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I said we try to state facts on this show and things of that nature. You know, we as growing up as kids, the youth, the age I come from, the bracket, they had G.I. Joe, they had cowboys and Indians. Everybody always wanted to be a cowboy, never wanted to be an Indian because the Indian was looked at as a bad person. So now, with this saying that we've been doing for like 2 hours now,
right now.
Hold on. This is a wrap. This is a wrap.
I wish you would have asked that earlier, Cal. You should have asked that earlier, Cal.
I'm Alley Cat.
And I'm the infamous twin.
We are the Kultcha.
You are the Kultcha.
You know what I mean? And we out.
Tune in.
And I thank everybody on this panel.
I thank everybody, man.
Yo,
Peace and love. Y'all take care. Be safe.
This is All Hearts, White Light, and that's it. Subscribe for the Kultcha.